It's always awkward for like the first like 10 minutes, or not 10 minutes, like 10-15 seconds.
Right.
When you wait for it to load.
It says it's live.
There we go. Welcome back for another live duck hunting discussion. And we are going to be talking about some crazy public land experiences that we've had when we go out and duck hunt. And I'm sure there's a bunch of stories that you guys have, so feel free to drop some comments in the comment section of the live stream. We're going to go through and read those. And so, Bobby, I want you to start out with one of your crazy experiences because I feel like you've got some years on me.
Man, one for sure was one that stands out to me. Me and Wade, we went up to McPherson Wetlands. Sorry, I'm trying to get this all pulled up here. We went to McPherson Wetlands, which is. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, there you are. We went to McPherson Wetlands, and it was like the opening weekend. So you know how crazy it gets. McPherson Wetlands, it's perfect rectangle marshes. Perfect square rectangle marshes. And this year, the corners were deep, so everybody would populate around the shallow stuff in the middle. So me and Wade got the crazy idea. We were only a couple years into duck hunting. We got the crazy idea to wade out and go put out teal decoys and stuff in the cattails in the middle of the marsh. Well, everybody hunted on the banks. Dude, it got, that 15 minutes before dark when ducks just dive bomb you. It got to there, and dude, it became a war zone, and we were in the middle of this thing. We were the idiots. Like, we were the complete morons that waited out in the middle of this thing, and dude, we were getting peppered like no other. We literally had to like duck, cover, and waddle our butts right. Dude, it was ridiculous. Plumb ridiculous. We were about 19 years old, 18 years old, and not the smartest fellers on the block.
I mean, that's kind of something that I would have done. I mean, I have done.
Trying to get where them ducks are.
Yeah, for sure. Like there's a couple of videos I posted from last season when we went to the Marizine wildlife area, and we were hunting in this pool that had like just no water in it. It just had like maybe 3 or 4 inches of water, but there's a bunch of grass, and so we couldn't figure out where to set up. We just could not find any water. It was like 4 a.m, and so we were just like, well, right here, well, there's water here. And so we basically made our own little hole in the marsh. We took the decoy sled and like pushed it around, like pushing the grass down, and we got like just like a little tiny bit of water above the grass. And like we had people set up behind us, and then later in the day, like we were doing really well in that spot. We were getting all the birds to come into our spread instead of like other people's spreads. So like being in the middle of the marsh was basically to our advantage because the birds weren't wanting to go to the edges. They would want to rather land in the middle. So we kind of offered them that. But I mean, there was some later in the day, like in the afternoon, when people started showing up for the afternoon hunts, that's when it kind of got a little bit hectic because we had people set up, like we were in the middle of the marsh, and we had somebody set up like 150 yards behind us, and we had somebody set up like 80 yards to our right, and then like right to our left, like front left, we had somebody set up like maybe like 100 yards away from us. We just had people setting up just right in our area, and it's just kind of like, what are you doing? Because obviously you can see that we're here, and they just decided to set up. And then like they shot a bird, and then their dog was just like running around the marsh trying to find the bird that they shot. That was like way out wherever. I mean, it was just a bad day, but we shot birds, so it was all right. But there's definitely been just some crazy experiences where you're just kind of like, what are you doing? And I guess that just kind of comes down to public land ethics, you could say.
Yeah, and public land, you're dealing with people where it might be their first year or it might be their 5th year. So one thing about it, like people may be very, very inexperienced, And man, I've seen it 100 times. Like, people just don't get. It's kind of like bass fishing when you're out on the lake on a boat, and you know how far to stay away from another boat if you see them fishing, right? Like, the same thing goes with hunting. People don't have any idea of like space when it comes to waterfowling. They have no idea. And I sure hope these YouTube videos help people learn a little quicker, because it gets bad. It gets real bad.
Yeah, it's also hard to figure out like distances when you're setting up in the morning on public land, because
True.
at night things look like they're a lot farther away than they actually are. Like, that goes with setting out your decoys and your spread, because there's times when like the sun starts coming up and we're like basically in our decoys. I'm just like, oh, we should probably
Right.
fix that. But
And
it's
like, you
even
can see headlamps, but at night, yeah, you're right. In the dark, you can't even judge how far a headlamp is away.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So like I'd try to shoot like farther away than what I think would be all right,
Right.
just to kind of have that space, because one, if I set up too close to them, they're gonna get mad, and two, that's just gonna screw up my hunt because
Yeah.
close to them.
You're screwing yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's this one hunt this past season where we dealt with people who set up like 50 yards to our left. Like, we could hear them talking in their blind, just like I'm talking to this right here. And it was just like, what is going on? Because we were on like this tree row, and it just kind of bowed out a little bit, and it came back. And we were kind of on that bow, so like we couldn't see back in there, but we were set up and ready to go. And then like right by shooting light, these people just came walking down the dike and set up right next to us. So that was a little bit of a difficult hunt, because they're two decoy spreads right next to each other. So like birds were going each way, and it was just like super confusing. They should have just come and hunt with us. But that was the mallards on top video. That would
Oh, yeah,
it was
I remember
decent.
that one. Yeah, I remember that one. I'm telling you, man, you're right. People, it's not it's brains is not like a given thing. Like, people, it takes a little bit for people to get the hang of this thing. It's a different type of sport, you know. If you weren't raised, like, I was raised dove and pheasant hunting, so like when you're dove and pheasant hunting, you learn some ethics when you're younger, and it seems like there's a lot of younger adults like just kind of getting into it, and that's great. It's really great for the sport, but they don't have that past learning experience, which is hey, that's why we're here. But be delicate with what you're doing out there, man. Just be delicate. You use as much common sense as you can, because you know it can get dangerous. One thing to add to that, talking about beginners, man. Long story made short here. At my old job, there was a vendor guy that was like, "Hey, I like duck and goose hunting. You should take me sometime." I'm like, "Okay, yeah, whatever." I didn't know him very well. Well, come to find out, months later on, I end up at a pond in the morning. I had to meet my buddy. He brought him, knew him from somewhere. I'm like, "Hey, dude, wow, cool. This works out. You wanted to go." Needless to say, the guy and he told me he had hunted forever. Like, he had hunted for years and years with his dad growing up and all this stuff. And he blew my eardrum like in the first 5 minutes. The first flock that came, he blew my eardrum, and then he decided to go sit on the other side of the pond where it was where we would be shooting the ducks. So we sat on the opposite side of the bank. And so like you really just don't know. You don't know how much experience people have. They can talk really well. They could be great used car salesmen about hunting. You just got to be careful around other people. I've been in some kind of dangerous situations because you just trust people with a loaded gun in their hand, and it turns out, yeah, I should have never trusted him that much. But yeah, I've had some experiences with beginner hunters. You know, just be careful with your gun. Keep it on safety, and just watch where that thing's pointed, please.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's probably like the biggest thing in all hunting, though, is just gun safety, because nobody wants to get shot. That's just that's just a Debbie Downer. You're gonna have a bad time. It's like that South
It's not
Park
going to be
episode.
good. It's
No,
not
it's like
well,
that
and then
South.
when you do,
What?
go ahead.
No, you
No,
go.
go ahead.
No, you
No,
do.
you go, man.
No,
My
we're not a married
no,
couple.
God,
You go.
son of a. You
Camera
made
on
me
you.
forget what I was talking about.
Okay, whatever. Don't shoot yourself.
Go.
That's a good option. But back to like just the crazy things. I feel like this is turning into just complaints about public land, which one bad experience doesn't make it bad. I've had way more good experiences on
No.
public ground than bad. But like some of the crazier things I've seen people do is like this one time we were back in that same corner from the mallards on top video, but some guys were set up there, so we just kept walking through the marsh. That was on the mallard beatdown video that day. But these people were set up on the other side of the tree line. They had the wind coming. Actually, there really wasn't much wind that day, so it didn't really matter. But they had this mojo on like a 30-foot pole just sticking up. Like I've never seen that before, but that was pretty crazy. But it worked, and I don't know how or why it worked. But having a mojo 30 feet in the air in the marsh apparently works super great when you're hunting like on the other side of a tree line. So they see those mojos spinning through the trees. So I think that's what was going on there. But that was a brilliant idea, and I would maybe think about buying one of those 30-foot mojo pools. But you might want to have a remote for them.
or a ladder.
Yeah, or a really long ladder or a stick.
If you think about it, I mean, it works. You know, some of the most obvious things like that you don't think about works the most. Like, I know we're going to kind of get off topic here, but man, just like hunting in white, like we have great duck hunts when we're goose hunting, and with white snow geese in white painter suits. Like I've shot some of the best duck hunts we had was in white painter suits and white snow geese, just because it's different. Like it's completely different. So those good ideas like that, man, I'm telling you, they can make or break, or they can just make it way better. You know, like it's like being ahead of the game on some of that stuff. Dude, that is a beautiful quilt behind your head.
Thanks. My great grandma made
it. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Isn't it? It's beautiful.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah. What other crazy things have we seen? I don't know. There's people that I don't know. I feel like some of the craziest stuff I've seen is really kind of minor now that I think about it. But at the time, I'm just like, what are you doing? Like bad calling. That's that. I laugh. I laugh so hard when somebody can't call. Oh, it's so funny.
Highly encountered thing there, because you hear that when there ain't no shooting, boy, you hear it all the way across the marsh.
Yeah. Oh, so here's this one. So 2 years ago when we were hunting on a lake, there was a group set up on the other side of the lake. It was like kind of a reservoir, so it was kind of long and skinny. So there were people set up on the other side, and we were on the north side. And there was a point that we were on, and a point like 300 yards down from us that another guy was set up on. And this guy was just highballing on his call. Couldn't call, but he was trying very hard to highball on his call. And then this guy from the other side of the lake just screams, "Those are geese, you idiot!" That's more dumbed down than what he said, but no, it wasn't a duck call. He was goose calling at him, and the guy goes, "Those are ducks, you moron!" I thought it was hilarious because he was goose calling at ducks. So like, this was like 5 minutes of goose calling out of his blind, like hardcore. Like you have a spread of like like 1,000 decoys kind of calling.
Oh,
You ever goose call at a duck?
Oh, dude, plenty of times. Plenty of times when you get them mixed up in the air, for sure. Especially at the beginning of the season when you're a little rusty. Hey, it happens.
Oh yeah,
it happens.
Yeah,
it happens. But yeah, man, public hunting. I'll tell you what. A lot of our hunting back then, when I did a bunch of public hunting, was on the rivers. So you would some of the things you'd encounter on the rivers were like people in kayaks, kayaking down while hunting. Like
Yeah, like
that's a thing.
they float down and then jump ducks.
Yeah, they bust them all the way down the river.
I've kind of wanted to try that. That looks kind of fun.
I did it one time. It's kind of a pain in the butt. If it's up high enough, like our river here, it can kind of be a pain to stop the boat and then go get the duck. You know, wherever it's a big river.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is fun. The marshes around here, we don't have like I have to drive 30 minutes to get to like McPherson, but if I want to get to like, you know, like Quivira or Cheyenne Bottoms, those are both like 45 and an hour away. So like my good duck, my public land is literally an hour away from me. That's why I do so much private land goose stuff. It's just because it's so far away.
Yeah, it's
But
closer.
yeah, yep,
So I'm thinking for this next season, what I'm going to do when I get back is I'm going to grab my kayak from my parents' house, and I'm going to kind of rig that thing up to do some duck hunting out of. So
yeah,
like I'm thinking about like duck hunting just in the marshes, the public marshes that are like 15 minutes away from where I live at school, and just like going before class and then just kayak out, throw some deeks, shoot some birds, kayak back. I feel like that would be a lot quicker and a lot more fun than having to pack everything in by myself before class. So I don't know. It's a sit in kayak. So I don't know how exactly that would work. I feel like I could do it, but I just don't know what to do with my gun. Like that's the only thing I'm a little bit questionable about is like what do I do with my gun?
because it's a
So
sit in,
yeah, it's a sit in.
right?
So I guess I could like prop it between my legs and paddle, and then my decoys too. I'll probably just clip them behind my shoulder or something like that. I'll work out the logistics later. But if you guys in the comments have anything that could help me out with that idea, I'd love to hear it. Um, maybe I definitely will probably like tie my paddle to my kayak some way, or like try and make like a rack. I don't know. I'll figure it out once I look at it and really kind of start doing it. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
So
I think it'd be a
are you
fun
going to
idea
do it on like big bodies of water or in the marsh or what?
in the marsh.
I was going to say if it's like a big body of water, you just tie the decoys on behind you and let them string out. Because you know, like big body water hunting, you just see they'll just string the lines of decoys out and let the wind blow them.
Yeah, long
Basically,
line.
yeah, long lining. And dude, you could do that off the front or the back and have you an anchor and just long line them suckers, one long line out in front of you.
Yeah.
But that's if you're going to stay in your kayak. You're not going to stay in it. You're just
No,
going to go out.
I'm gonna stay in it. I feel like that'd be the
Oh, you
easiest
are?
thing. Yeah. So I won't be wearing waders at all because that's just a bad idea.
Right.
You don't want to wear waders in a boat because then you'll sink. But
Right. Yeah.
I'll figure it out.
I
I
was thinking
mean,
about, dude. I was really thinking about doing a video where I jump in my pool with waders on just to see what happens, but it's kind of scary.
well, have your wife there. She'll pull you out.
I don't know, man. I've been packing on some weight, dog.
She might just let you sink.
Joke,
Yes.
psych. Yeah, yeah,
No, like I've thought about it too. So like when you're sitting in the marsh and like you're like on your chair, but you're like waist deep in water. You know how like your feet just kind of float up. Like, does it
yeah.
happen when your waders fill up with water? Do they just kind of float up, or do they just weigh you down?
I don't
Because
know,
do you
dude.
go like topside and then just like sink after that, or what?
I don't know, dude. I about had to come face to face with it. About a month ago, I was setting bank lines for the catfish out here, and dude, it was flooded, so I thought the bank went out farther than it did, but it had washed away. And I took a step in that water thinking that there was going to be bank, and it was just literally a straight drop off. Oh my god. Like my heart literally pounded out of my chest. It was scary. I caught
Oh yeah,
myself with my hands I actually have the footage because my GoPro was running. I caught myself with my hands and pulled and had to crawl out because my feet never touched the bottom of that thing. But I don't know. I need to try it out because it'd be nice just knowing what exactly happens when they are full.
Yeah, for real, that would be a good idea.
Yeah. And you have to obviously be like in water above your head. So
Yeah. I don't know, because like, is it possible to like slip out of your waders when they fill up? Like, if you go under, can you like unclip and come out, or what?
I don't know. This guy right here is saying that neoprene waders will not sink you and that it will actually help you float.
But does that apply if they're full of water though?
I
Because
don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Because like, does it suction tight enough to your body when you're under that the water
Well, you
doesn't
would
get
think
in?
if it filled up, it's not going to be sucked to you. It'll fill up. You know what I mean? But then when you try to swim and paddle up, like you're going to bring all the water that's in them with you. So that means you're heavier.
Yeah, Adam's saying.
Like obviously you're going to be heavier.
Yeah, Adam says you float and they don't fill up with water.
Really?
Yeah,
I'll be darned.
that's crazy. I didn't like.
So
Everybody
it's
says don't wear
almost
waders in a boat because then you'll drown. But I don't know. I guess they make you float. Maybe like back in the day when they had like canvas waders or something, that was more of like a precautionary thing. But I guess neoprene floats. So
yeah, right. So it's almost like well, that makes sense. That
yeah,
makes sense. Neoprene floats, so if there's water in between it, it's still going to want to float. So, huh?
yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can get some more questions from the guys who are watching right
That's
now.
that was a good topic because I've actually thought about doing something like that. Like it's just interesting.
Yeah. Luke always says like if he goes under, he's like, oh, I'll just unclip it and hop right out and I'll be fine. But if you think about it, that
Have you
might
ever?
work when you're dry, but when your feet and your legs are suctioned into there, like it doesn't work.
Oh yeah. To add to that, like, have you ever came close to taking on water? Like close.
Well, I've taken on water through a lot of holes in my waders, like teal tooth.
Well, I mean, no, over the top, over the top of them.
Yes, I have. I've gone through places where I literally have to pull my waders up and like walk on my toes because it was like I was going into the marsh and I was going down the dam and I went down and then it just this one spot it was just deep enough to where I could walk across and like I pulled my waders up and I was fine. It was like maybe nipple level, but then it like we got rain or something. And I tried going out there like the week later and I was like, oh crap. And then it was kind of floating like over when I walked, it would like splash in and splash in. I'm like carrying all my stuff above my head. So that was a little scary, but I made it all right. It was the shorter way to go. Like I don't want to walk longer. Like it was either go through that way and make it like a 10-minute walk or go around and make it like a 25-minute walk. Take your pick.
Right. My worst experience, man. This pond, and it was an extremely one. If you are hunting in a pond that is silty, do not walk out in it. Like, just don't. No matter if you think you know how deep it is. Like this pond, man. I was trying to retrieve a duck. There was no wind, and it just like got hung up on a limb out in the middle of this pond. Way out to it, and the silt just like kept getting deeper and deeper, and the water kept getting deeper and deeper, and it got to where the silt, like I had no I was to that point to where if I go any deeper I was going to flood in, but then I was to that point in the silt to where I could get no traction. Oh my lord, you talk about scaring the life out of me. I was stuck probably for anywhere from like 8 to 10 minutes, like trying to get back up to shore without taking on water. It was awful. Awful, awful, awful. If you're hunting in silt, don't risk walking out in the dang thing. Like, don't do that. Silty ponds, the bad ones that have been around for a long time, especially if cattle's, fed, drank in them for a long time, and cattle's been in them for a bunch of years. Do not wade out in those things. Don't do it. Wait, go get a John boat and come back or something.
No, do it. Do it. It's good for you.
No.
I do it all the time.
Dude, it's scary. I'll tell you that right now.
I've waded in ponds where I'm like going shin deep in the silt. I'm just like, oh
yeah, awful.
It takes forever, but you can do it, and it kind of helps. Like, I have my GoPro stick that I use to put my GoPro on. Like, if I'm setting up in the morning and I know it's like a silty pond, I take that with me so that I can hold on to that while I walk. So then you're not like falling over, because that's like the biggest thing. Is like if you fall over and your feet are stuck in the mud, like you're gonna
right.
So
look at this. This is a good addition to what we're talking about here. This guy says, "Don't wade with a decoy." If you're hearing a crying child, my bad. She's not very happy. Don't wade with a decoy bag on your back. I almost died because the decoy bag rolled me down as it wanted to be on top. Oh my Lord.
Yeah, that would be scary.
Oh, dude, you ain't lying. Yeah, I would have pooped myself.
Like, especially like if like you're in like 4.5 foot of water.
Yeah.
Like, oh man,
Yeah.
that would be bad. Like, because like if you get rolled up onto your back, you can't get your feet back down because the waders will pull your feet up to the top. Oof.
Yeah, that's bad. That is scary. Or paddle, yeah.
Yeah.
We got a crying child going nuts. Can you hear her?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, you talk a minute. I'm gonna see if the world's falling apart.
Okay. Yeah, so let's get some questions up in here and see what we can do. But favorite bird to shoot? Mallards, bro. I love shooting mallards. Like, geese are fun, and like all the other ducks are kind of fun, but like I would rather just have a group of like 20 mallards just working me and then just calling them all the time. Like, yeah, getting buzzed by teal is fun, and they're cool birds to shoot, but mallards, hands down, my favorite bird to shoot.
Yellow.
Oh, you're back.
Yo.
Did the world fall apart?
It was for a minute, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, a paddle or a walking stick, dude. Definitely have something in the silty areas. Silty areas. Oh man.
What other kind of tricks have I thought of? Like, I don't know. I guess I really haven't thought of that many. I just thought about using my stick that I used to film to use as a walking stick. Also, when you're breaking ice on a silty pond, you got to be careful with that.
Oh man. Yeah,
Dude,
my buddy went in on the river because of ice. We were breaking ice and he went under.
Yikes.
Oof. Yeah, he ran. He literally got to the bank, pulled off the waders because they were full, and literally just ran to the truck.
Oh,
so
yeah.
That's literally all you could do.
Yeah, no, I've had some experiences with ice where it's just kind of like really sketchy because you're like, okay, I know how deep this is, but I don't know how thick the ice is. Like, you can walk on it or you can't walk on it, or like you walk on it, it's just cracking, or you walk on it and you fall through. You never really know. But I'd say ice is definitely probably one of the most dangerous things next to shotguns when you duck hunt, because that will cut you up. And it'll bust your waders like that. And also, like, getting stuck under ice, that is not somewhere I want to be. So ice is probably another thing you should probably be cautious about. This is turning into like a be careful when you duck hunt conversation now.
I kind of figured it would, because it's just like you talk about public land and then all the craziest stuff we do or that you've seen. When I was starting out, I did some stupid stuff too. I'm not gonna lie, but Man, it's easy to have one of these discussions because there's so many things related to duck and goose hunting that experienced and that I've experienced over the years that maybe you just didn't think about ever happening, or just, you know, it happens like that and you're like you never seen it coming type of deal. And
Oh yeah.
there are a lot of things, a lot of things, especially, you know, I since we're going this route, one of the things that got me one time was that we had a killer hunt. Like, it was just one of them. It was active all morning. We had like 10 guys, so we shot birds for like 3 hours straight, and just group after group, because we had so many guys. It took a while to limit out, and the hunt was so good. Like, we got all so amped up about running, grabbing geese, you know, running and gunning geese because they weren't dead yet. The whole 9 yards. Like, at one point, we just cut into a big old wad of these things. So we had to go running and gunning, like 3 or 4 of us out in the field. And I got so tired one time, like I pulled up to shoot a bird and didn't even like look before I was gonna shoot. Like, I just pulled out my gun, and then there was my friend, not like right in the way of the barrel, but like where you wouldn't have shot. I wouldn't have shot him, but it was still so close. So you're like, oh my God, like you get so into, you know, just going and going.
Yeah.
You can get sidetracked really quick.
Yeah. I mean, this one time, 2 years ago, Lane didn't stop swinging his gun through at a bird, and he shot one more time, and I felt the muzzle blast go across my hand, and I was like, "Oh!"
Oh my
Like, if
God.
I was just a tad closer, my fingers would be gone.
Oh
So
my
that
God.
was probably one of my scariest moments when I'm duck hunting, is like when you feel like powder from a gun hitting your hand.
Oh my God.
Like, that was a little bit
That's close.
crazy.
That's
That
close.
was yeah. I'm thank the Lord I've
Oh,
got all 10 digits still.
oh my Lord. Yeah, that gives you the old heebie-jeebies. Oof.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think the closest it's happened to me something like that is that we took a buddy out, and it was his first duck hunt. He was really interested in getting into it. Took him to the bottoms, Cheyenne Bottoms, and Cheyenne Bottoms has these little mounds that you can wade out to and sit on these mounds. And we're all sitting in a row, and just kind of the hunt was over. The birds stopped, and he had his gun sitting over his lap, and dude, just sitting there out of nowhere, boom, just went off because he was messing with the trigger or whatever. And yeah, it hit the ground like right at 12 inches, a foot away from my right foot, you know. So it was probably
Yeah.
within a foot of just smoking my foot off. But I'll tell you what, man, if you guys out there ever take beginners, you know, you have them buddies that say, "Man, I want to try it. You look like it looks like it's fun, blah blah blah. Take me, take me, take me, take me," and you end up taking them. Just like go extra safety, like just true, like safety, gun on safety, gun on safety. Like, you ask them 10 times a damn minute almost. But
Yeah. No,
I've had a couple incidents.
I've had an accidental discharge one time. That was 2 years ago. I was hunting with Adam and Adam's dad and uncle and cousin, and Uncle Tom decided to bring out the 10 gauge that day. And the 10 gauge had an accidental discharge, and that was a little bit freaky because the gun was seriously, we leaned our guns like on the blind in front of us, and apparently like one of the sticks from the blind went and clicked the safety off and fell into the trigger guard, and the gun fired, went straight up in the air, but still the 10 gauge went off because of the blind. Like, that
Oh
was
my God.
like, what are the odds of that? The safety got clicked off by the stick and it went into the trigger guard and fired. Like, what?
Dude, that's scary.
Yeah.
Those are things like you can't control. You know, you can, but you can't control.
Like, would
You
you
know?
expect? Would you expect a stick to somehow turn the safety off in your gun and then fire it?
Mm-mm.
No, like
No.
it's the stuff like that, or like the stuff that you would not expect would ever happen, or
Oh,
think about something would happen. That's when like things can go bad. But most of the
yeah.
time, like if you're new to duck hunting, this is like stuff that really doesn't happen very often. But there's a slight chance that things like this do happen, and you just kind of want to be prepared and be cautious and aware of everything that's happening, so then these things do not happen. But most of the time, things are good. It's just when we kind of are sleep deprived, or we're just kind of not thinking clear, or we're just kind of really in the moment, we forget to maybe put our safety on, or we forget that, you know, our buddies are like out here or whatever. Like that's kind of the biggest thing. It's just kind of being aware of your surroundings, I guess.
I think that one thing you just said was sleep deprived, because any duck or goose hunter, you know, you're up at the butt crack of dawn. You know, you're up early, so maybe it was a late night the night before. You know,
I don't know
you
what
know,
you're
I've
talking
had
about,
those.
Bobby.
I've
I
had.
don't know what you're
Hey,
talking about.
Hey, man, I'm 30, so I've had those mornings where. Man, it was a long night before, and you are so damn tired that accidents can happen literally at the snap of a finger. Not gonna
Yeah,
lie.
we've had to take care of Lucas in the morning one time. It
What's
was
up with that fool? Why ain't he posting any dang videos, man?
Yeah, Luke's not gonna be doing any videos. He just wants to be the funny guy in my videos, which I'm okay with because I'm pretty dry.
Yeah, yeah, you are. You dry, you old dry Daniel. You. No,
I
you're
have dad
not
jokes.
dry. You have great coffee jokes. Yeah.
Yeah, we should dress like dads and drink coffee sometime.
Oh, dude, if you want to do some skits, like field skits, I have some ideas for some ridiculous field skits. I want to wear, let's just say, like, I want to wear a bikini in one of them and make it look like I have a big butt, and then you get the surprise at the end.
Oh boy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh
Like,
boy.
I got some ideas for some funny
Are you gonna
skits.
shave your legs too?
No, you just take the shot far enough away where you can't tell it's a man or a woman because it's a shot from the back.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, I got some ideas. We got to do them. It's gonna be ridiculous.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
What else you got? Anything else?
Um. Oh, you know, just wait. I'm waiting on dove season. Dang it! I'm ready for
Yeah,
dove season.
I'm waiting on a
I
lot of
think.
things.
Yeah, I'm ready for dove season.
Or teal. Teal's fun.
Dove, but you can't expect it all. You can't go all the way to ducks already. You get to dove. You get your shot warmed up. That's your warm up, man.
And then the week
That's your
later you go
prep.
shoot teal.
See, that's
Yeah,
what you do.
I just looked at the duck season list today. I was like, did they post that yet? And they did. So we've got the duck season list out, and looks like my real season is going to start on October 28th.
Come here. She wants to sit. Let's say hi.
Yeah.
She was the crier.
Yeah, the world was falling apart.
Were you the crier earlier? Yeah. Yep. So this is what we've been doing, is hanging out 4th of July weekend.
Same. But I think that's enough for today because we've been on here for like 45 minutes. So thanks for tuning in. Go check out Bobby's channel. Bobby Guy Films. He's been posting a lot of duck hunting stuff, so go check that out. And we'll be doing another live stream here eventually if I have time or whatever works out. Probably come August or something, but we'll have to see. The camera's not even on me and I'm talking. Okay, here we go. This is probably a little better for you guys.
And we're planning we're planning a bunch of hunts together this year too. So
yeah,
there is a lot that I haven't even got to talk to Josh about in the works, but there's going to be a lot of good new stuff coming up. So it's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a bunch of fun.
it'll be a good ride. We're just kind of, it's July now, so we gotta wait until September, and we'll really get things rolling with the whole duck season hunting stuff. So enjoy. Bobby does Fowl Fridays. I do Waterfowl Wednesdays. And Bobby posts like 3 times a week now or something like that.
Trying
right?
to, yeah.
Yeah.
Have been for the last few weeks.
So check it out, Bobby Guy Films. But
thank you, dog.
Thanks for joining us today. Hope you enjoyed this, and we will catch you on the next one.